Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Listen, let's talk about how to take it one day at a time. How to take what one day at a time. We could talk about how to take ourselves, our life, our business to supersize and grow it one day at a time. Why? A couple of reasons. But where did this idiom, where did this expression come from? This one comes from the world of Alcoholics Anonymous. It actually was part of the 12-step book. And I can't remember the title exactly, but I remember it was part of the 12-step book. We've actually talked about this idiom in the past. I don't remember if we talked about it in the business idioms discussion early on this year or if it was before that. Might have even been before that. But since we've talked about it before, instead of going into what it means, where did it come from and all that, we know it came from AA, or if you haven't caught that, you can search and find the past discussion on how to supersize your business by taking things one day at a time. But today I thought it'd be a little more interesting to talk about 7 things that you can do to take your life one day at a time. Because if you're taking your life one day at a time, it's impacting your business. I also found a list of habits, 7 habits to live one day at a time. But the first one right off the bat triggered me or set me off a little bit because it was to create a minimum viable product. Now I understand that, but to me that feels like doing the minimum to get by. And doing the minimum to get by is different than doing what you can with what you've got, or doing the best you can given the resources that you have. So that's just a philosophical thing. But let's not go over the habits. Let's talk about what are 7 things that you can do to take life one day at a time. Well, number 1, of course, you have to look after your mind and body. If you're not taking care of yourself, and I would add your emotional and spiritual health and well-being as well. If you're not taking care of you, you don't have what it takes. You don't have the energy and the reserves and the resources that you personally need to grow and build and supersize your business. So number 1, we want to take care of ourselves. Maybe not drink so much coffee, maybe drink more water. I guess I got water right here too, so I'm doing both. But take care of yourself, and that only you can define what that is for you. What do you need to do to get and have the energy that you need to create the business and the life that you want? Number 2, and this one I think many of us that own our own businesses and are trying to grow and supersize our business in the world do, and it is to don't live on autopilot. Now, here again, this one is like, I spend most of my life finding ways to automate processes and systems and parts of my life, but I automate the things that are necessary and important, but they're not necessary or important for me personally to do or be involved in. And I think that that's what this means. Don't put your relationships on autopilot thinking that they're still going to be there when you get unbusy building your business, and the family's just going to be there. The kids are going to continue to grow. Your significant other is going to continue to evolve and change and grow. And if you're not doing that as a family or as a unit or in your relationships, guess what? You wake up one day and you find yourself divorced. Oh, wonder how that happens. Number 3, a third way to help you to live your life one day at a time is to keep a journal. Document your life. If your life is worth living, your life is worth recording. I don't remember who said that or who I heard that from, but I took it to heart a long time ago, and I don't really document my day-to-day activities in a journal anymore, but I do a daily post, since my vision is magnifying glass level and below. I actually do a video journal of what I'm doing with respect to business for the most part. What's working, what's not, as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world. And I just share that in case people can glean anything that would help them, that would shortcut their process or help to make their life better. I do it because I used to journal, but as reading and writing becomes more challenging for you, writing is never a challenge. You never could read my writing anyway, but as reading becomes a little bit more difficult, we all adjust and adapt and figure out what works for us. For me, I now use a video log instead of journaling so much for just my business day-to-day activities and keeping track of that. Number 4, stop worrying about the future. We absolutely positively have to stop worrying about the future. Now, does that mean we don't have our long-term legacy goals and objectives for our business and to supersize it? Absolutely positively not. We got to know what the target is that we're shooting for at all times. But what we want to do is we want to not worry about it. We want to envision it. We want to give it positive energy and make sure that we're moving toward it And we do that by not worrying, but by taking steps every day to move us toward that. Number 5, we set achievable daily goals. Now, again, I think that this is a good one because it allows us to look at that big vision and then break it down. I always break my legacy goals down into 10-year, 5-year, annual goals. And then each of my annual goals are broken down into 90-day, year type increments because I want to get 4 times more done in any year than other people do. That's just me. And then monthly goals, weekly goals, and actually daily action steps and activities that are in and of themselves goals that feed into and all connect to help one another. And if I know by lots of years of experience that if I actually do and achieve my daily targets and goals, that my annual goals and my legacy goals are a given because I've set it up that way. I've set it up so that I break things down, and as long as I'm doing what I commit to myself to do every day, I know that my end goals and results are automatically going to be achieved because we're on that course. Barring getting hit by a truck or something, it's going to happen. Number 6, congratulate yourself on the small things. Celebrate the little wins. Celebrate the big ones too, but make sure that you're giving yourself credit for all of the hard work and all the things you're doing as you're growing and building your business. Make sure that you're celebrating those things. And celebrating is going to be different for each and every one of us. When I celebrate, I will take an afternoon off and go out and hang out in nature or go to the beach or something. Other people will, party like rock stars. It's what works for you and what's appropriate for you. And finally, number 7, and this is probably the one that should be first and my favorite, remember you only get to live each day once. We only get to live today. We can never come back and live it again. Even if we try to, relive the past, we can't do it. We can only live each day in the present moment. So that's to remind us to be present, pay attention to what's going on because it's important, and make sure that we're doing do the best you can with what you've got right now. And that's not a minimum viable product. So love to know your experience with this. What do you do? What do you break down? What do you take one day at a time? And this is originally meant to deal with a difficult thing or a challenge or a tough situation or an undesirable situation and break it down and focus just on the what you can do today versus the overall terrible consequences that could happen if you don't deal with it today. So think of Alcoholics Anonymous or any other addiction. If you don't deal with it now, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and devastate your life. So instead of thinking about and dreading how your life is going to be terrible or you're going to die because you don't take care of yourself or you drink yourself to death, you think about just getting through the 24 hours without having a drink of alcohol, or just getting through the 24 hours by eating right and taking care of yourself, or just getting, and again, it's a philosophical approach. I understand it works for millions and millions of people, and so like I say about everything else, you have to select and do and choose what works for you. So, curious if you have any things that you do every single day. I know I have a whole slew of things on autopilot that I do every single day because they work for me, and I know that they're automatically moving me toward that long-term vision of what I want for my life. That's it. Have an absolutely amazing day. I will be with you tomorrow, and we're going to do challenge, setback, failure, change type idioms and expressions for the next 30 plus days as we do the Get Up and Go Challenge on the Get Up and Go Challenge group and page. Any questions, hit me up. Any awesome challenge related or change related idioms that you'd love to know the meaning, the etymology of, just hit me up in the comments below as well. Otherwise, have an amazing day, and I will of course be with you tomorrow.